So in this video, we're going to use the cosine rule to find a length. So we're going to use the cosine rule to find a length when we're given two sides and the angle between the two sides. In this example here, imagine those were the two sides given to us, 7 and 6. Well, where the red dot is, that would be the angle between the two sides. So if we're given that angle, in this case 57 degrees, and we're trying to find the length of the side marked x, then we would use the cosine rule. It's really important we know how to label the sides and angles of the triangle. So if that's one of the vertices or corners, or indeed angles marked with a capital A, then the side opposite that angle or corner or vertex will be lowercase a. Similarly, we've got vertex B, so the side opposite that will be marked with lowercase b. And finally, if we are labeling that corner, vertex or angle C, then the side opposite will be lowercase c. Capital letters for vertices, lowercase letters for the sides. So in the yellow box you can see the formula. You don't have to remember it because that will be on your GCSE exam on the formula sheet. But a little bit of explanation of how it works. We're trying to find the length, so the length we'd start with, which we've called A in the formula, is the missing length. In this case, in our triangle, that's going to be actually length x. And note the angle at the end, in this case A, is a corresponding letter to the length that you start the formula with. So if you're trying to find a missing length, that will start the formula will end with the angle which corresponds to the missing length or is opposite the missing length. So let's see how that applies in our example. We're trying to find the length x, and the angle that corresponds to the side x or opposite the side x is the 57 degrees. So our formula will start with the length we're trying to find, x squared, and it's going to finish with 57 degrees on the end. But before we get to that, we've got b squared plus c squared. B squared plus c squared are just the two other lengths. So in actual fact, the cosine formula starts with Pythagoras' theorem almost. A squared equals b squared plus c squared. So b squared and c squared are the other two lengths. In this case, we've got 7 and 8 as the other two lengths. So that will be 8 squared plus 7 squared. And the next part of the formula, subtracting 2bc. So we're 2 times one of the other lengths times the other length, where the other lengths are given to us, in this case 7 and 8. So 2bc will be 2 times 8 times 7. And then finally, it will finish off with the cosine of that angle that corresponds to the length x. So that's the formula as written out. We then just tap the right hand side into our calculators. Note that that is x squared, so we need to square root both sides, and then we'll round off, in this case, to 2 decimal places. Here's our second example. So we're trying to find length x, so our formula will start x squared, and the corresponding angle to the length x is 103 degrees, so our formula will end with cosine 103 degrees. So it starts with x squared. The other two lengths, a squared plus b squared, are just the other two lengths given to us, in this case 7 squared plus 6.8 squared, minus 2ac, which are just twice times the other two lengths, and finishing off with the cosine of the angle opposite the length x, so that was cosine 103 degrees. We tap the right hand side into our calculator. That gives us x squared, so don't forget we have to square root both sides, and then we round off to a suitable degree of accuracy.